Amazing season it has been. We've seen it all, from sprawling mansions and elegant townhouses to luxury city penthouses. We've met some of the most incredible local talent in architects, interior designers and landscapers. Now for this season finale, we've decided to pick the very best from the season and to share some of your favorite moments. Now let's take it to the very beginning. Episode 2, the luxury penthouse apartment of Nontlejali. Now this is where we all learned that not all apartments are created equal. This luxurious penthouse apartment in Westcliff, Johannesburg was spacious, well lit and boasted the most spectacular views of the Johannesburg sunset and the iconic Sandton skyline in the distance. Now, Nontle, this screams personal style.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the vision.
You know, the vision about this place, because I bought this place as an investment for my children, and this screams kids. I've chosen an L couch because I've got a football team of children. I've got 4 kids, and they end up sleeping after watching their cartoons. You know how kids are, and they jump on the couch and they do all sorts of things. So I wanted to make sure that it's got enough space. I wanted to choose also neutral colors as a base, and I can always change with the pop in colors with the cushions and furs, something to cuddle when they fall asleep and stuff. And for decor on the coffee table, I've chosen horns of an antelope because they are obsessed with wild animals. And it just adds that extra touch, and your monochromes, black and white, just to also blend in with the rest of the penthouse. And obviously for the casual chairs, I chose a touch of green, just to bring that leafy feel, you know, that the place is alive.
To your point about your children, this really does feel like the heart of the penthouse.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the characteristics of the style that you've chosen and some of the elements that complement that.
It is indeed the heart of the penthouse because it is the landing area, if I might call it that. So everyone, when they walk in, it's the reception area. It's the room where I cook and get the opportunity to watch my children play. And it's open plan, and the space is spacious. So I can see my guests. You know, if you want to lie there and you're having like a tired day and your boyfriend is annoying you, you can lay there and sip some wine. I can watch you while I'm cooking you some food, and I can also look after my children. So that for me, this is where all the activity happens, all the fun happens. Everything happens in this space, and this is why I love this place, because of the openness of it, of the warmth of it, and how it is such a receiving area.
It's the apex of exclusivity and the pinnacle of luxury city real estate. The appeal of the penthouse is obvious. It sits above the rest, commanding the best views, the best amenities, and it's just that, the best.
Dumelo, as I was saying to you, I mean, coming here on top to entertain is the most beautiful, most serene place to be. I mean, look at this spectacular view of Johannesburg, surrounded by greenery. How amazing is that? And just watching the sunset, the splash pool, and my children absolutely love it. They are aqua babies. They are all water trained and water safe. So they love spending time here. And of course, for me, this is about the scenery. This is about the peace and quietness and quality time with them when they're enjoying what they love and while I'm enjoying what I love as a mom. And I mean, Dumelo, this place is where the best moments are made, which become the most amazing, most priceless memories.
Well, that's a view I could seriously get used to, but if estate living is more your style, then this next luxury golf estate home is something quite different and none like you've ever seen before. Wow, Dominique, I look around me and instantly my curiosity is struck. Who knew that minimalism could be so impactful?
This house is very special and very close to my heart. So, welcome to my minimalist world. I can't wait to show you around. This house consists of stacked monolithic cubes punched with glazing to create radiating light boxes by day and night.
Now, speaking of materials, that antique installation back there against the sleek silhouette of this building is the perfect introduction to what you've done inside.
Well, you are going to be surprised with what you're going to find inside. So please follow me.
Can't wait. Now, I believe that it's the owner who decided to install this into the front
Yes, and it's
of the house.
actually used as a post box.
The facade of this home in a high-end golf and wildlife estate in Kempton Park is emphatically modern. Lines projecting, intersecting and running in parallel are its primary language. It's a clean-lined, monolithic concrete structure, breaking all the stereotypes of an estate home.
You can see that this is a linear pathway made of the timber plywood, and this is to stress the visual access when you walk under the suspended canopy. And that is to create an eyesight that takes you right through the entrance lobby, and it ends in the landscape facing the dam.
Now, Dominique, I know this was in close collaboration with the homeowner when it
Yes.
came to the project. What was the brief?
The client brief was to create a single family home suited to their individual requirements. The internal spaces, they wanted to flow one into the other. They specifically asked me to maximize the view towards the dam and the golf course, while at the same time living in an energy efficient house. The concept of this house was to create light boxes through the use of glass and concrete. With glass, you get unimpeded views. There is an infinite relationship between inside and outside. During the day, there is an abundance of natural light and transparency. Then, at night, this house becomes one big luminous container.
Well, with a beautiful view like this, I can totally see why you'd want to kind of keep the space open.
Yes.
Now, talk to me about the exterior elements that kind of elevate the home.
The building mass is a composition of 3 tectonic boxes. There are offsets to these boxes, which creates cantilevers and projections. But each box has a different function. The utility box facing the street houses the cars and the golf carts and the laundry. Then the living box is open up towards the north and the south, and it contains the kitchen, the dining room, the lounge and the bar. Then the privacy box is stacked on top of the living box, and that contains the bedrooms and bathrooms.
Oh my goodness, look at this beautiful view. I mean, Dominique, what kind of lifestyle does a home like this create?
The owner enjoys quite a relaxed, outdoor, typical South African lifestyle with lots of entertaining. From the living room, you can have this fantastic view towards the golf course and the dam, and on the ground floor, you've got a very long patio for sunset braais.
And what do the owners love most about their home?
The owners regards this house as a relaxed sanctuary of purist spaces, and in their own words, they actually say that every day is a holiday.
After the break, we showcase more of your favorites from this season. One home that truly took our breath away this season was designed by our architect power couple, Sylvia Reck and Leslie Carstens. Their South African twist on the old Hollywood-style bungalow marries the past and present to a T. And did I mention the view? Take Hollywood, take Bungalow, and add a pinch of modern design into the pot. Give it a big stir, and out pours this amazing architectural masterpiece that combines the old with the new. The spectacular home mixes an old Hollywood bungalow party feel with a modern vision of angular glass, steel, wood, and concrete. I mean, it's almost hard to believe, but this is a heritage site, right? How did you manage to kind of preserve the old and add the new?
Well, that was in fact the challenge.
Yeah.
How do we take an American bungalow that was here before,
Yeah.
and how do we preserve the feeling of it, and how do we add a modern building
Yeah.
that can host parties in a sort of a Tarantino Hollywood style,
Yeah.
at the same time as being sympathetic to the old heritage house.
Now, we've touched a little bit on the Hollywood feel, but how would you describe this architectural style?
I think the true term is called Googie architecture. And there's just something really fun about it. It gives you a feeling that you're on holiday.
Yeah.
And if you follow movies, then the early kind of Hollywood movies had that sort of Googie style.
Yeah.
The bad guy's lair was always the coolest building. The James Bond kind of movies, the early ones, they always had these kind of special iconic houses that had this cool look. So the zigzag roof that you see in the existing bungalow house that was here, that kind of philosophy and that sculptural integrity is taken on into the rest of the house in terms of relating to space travel and the Jetsons and these sort of angular shapes and forms that were part of that early culture when I grew up.
For architect couple Sylvia Reck and Leslie Carstens, they wanted a one-of-a-kind home that could resemble their life experiences. With an experienced team at hand and a clear vision, they added alterations to the existing bungalow-style home, delivering to us this unique home with spectacular panoramic views of Johannesburg.
Do you want to see the best view in Joburg from the bedroom?
I would love to. Let's
Take
do
you
it.
upstairs to our master bedroom.
Let's do it.
Okay.
With furniture pieces collected by Sylvia and Leslie over time, there's a mixture of old classical pieces from around the world combined with modern pieces that were locally designed. Being involved in all areas of the design process, Leslie and Sylvia have created bespoke furniture pieces that work perfectly with this wonderful home. Wow, wow, wow. This feels like a floating glass box with the sort of unfolding architectural timeline of Johannesburg right outside your window.
Well, I mean, I must say, as an architect, it's quite nice because you see the whole history of Johannesburg as it's unfolded over the last 60 years or whatever. I mean, you've got the landlords that are up on the ridge over there. Then it goes through to Braamfontein and Ponty, and then you've got the brutalist modernist hospital and the nurses' res. And then right through to Rosebank and Sandton, which is a new up-and-coming city. So you've continued surrounded by this timeline. It's fantastic.
This is a lovely fresh take on an open-plan bedroom. How did you manage to harmonise the spaces across it?
Right, so light is always a big thing with us. I mean, I think there's a certain element of happiness and peace that comes with natural sunlight. And the one thing about this house is you're kind of at the mercy of the elements, but you also have to enjoy the elements. You know? So in the morning you get these incredible sunrises, and in the afternoon you get these incredible sunsets from the other angle. So in the evenings this whole landscape sort of starts glowing, and then you get all the birds coming back at night. There's just thousands and thousands of ducks that come past. And so they come sort of at eye level as you come past, you know.
That's a new take on traffic for you.
Yeah, it is. But you feel like you're on the sort of the duck highway.
Wow, simply breathtaking. And you might have guessed it by now, but I'm a real sucker for a view. And if you want to be totally engulfed in nature, then the home by Gillian Hull from Felt Architects is just a dream. How's it going?
Yeah,
Thank you so
well,
much. That's awesome. I can't wait. Thank you, home and workspace. When architect Gillian Hall and her husband Ivan bought a stand in the grassland surrounds of an eco-farm in Gauteng, her abiding enthusiasm for 20th century modern architecture finally found a fitting platform for expression. One of her chief objectives was to capitalize on the natural surrounds. They designed the stunning abode within the natural context and the estate's sustainable ethos. Wow, Jill, this view is absolutely breathtaking. I can totally see how you fell in love with this location, especially because I believe it serves the function of a home and a workspace. So tell me, what were the deciding factors that made this location the one?
Definitely the views of the Renosterspruit Conservancy, as well as the design ethos of the farm, which is more sustainable orientated. That really resonated with us, being conscious of the environment.
And there's nothing that says eco-friendly like an eco-pool, and I absolutely love that. What I love more about that, though, is when you pan from the exterior right into the interior, there's almost a seamless transition. How would you describe this architectural style?
It's contemporary South African architecture, but in this case, we really wanted to blur the lines between the interior and the exterior. And by using the steel frame structure and creating large openings with stack doors, you get that feeling that you're living in nature. And there's this symbiosis between nature and your living spaces, which really creates a great ambience and also just brings relaxation to a person and just connects them to where they live.
Jill, I have to say, this is the perfect depiction of South African contemporary architecture. And what I love most about it is its nod to eco-friendliness. And that ultimately pays homage to our beautiful homelands. After the break, we showcase more of your favorites from this season. If breaking the rules is your thing, then this next home, designed by Andre Krige of 255 Architects, will definitely speak to you. Rules or no rules, this home passes with flying colours in our books. Hello, Andre.
Hi, Tamela.
How's it going?
Well, and you?
Thanks so much for having us
Thank
to see
you.
your beautiful creation that you created for
Welcome.
us.
Let me show you inside.
Oh, wow. Okay, so from the outside, I was wondering what this could be, and it turns out it's a beautiful spiraling staircase.
Thanks, Tamela. Yeah, it's quite a thing, huh? It's such a critical feature of this house that we had to kind of make it work. And the most amazing part of it is that the balustrade is actually the main structure.
Well, I can't wait to see what's upstairs.
Let me go and show you.
Great. This amazing home provided Andre Krige of 255 Architects with an opportunity to experiment amidst strict restrictions imposed by the state guidelines. The client's requirements further added to the challenge at hand. The brief? To design a residence for the remainder of their lives and to consider all possible future planning provisions. Small feat, right? Wow, I mean, if there ever was a view, this is it. Andre, this home obviously feels like a sanctuary in nature. What was the brief?
Tamela, obviously we've got one hell of a view that we're dealing with, and the brief was quite simple. Let's take that view and get it into as much of the house as we possibly can.
Now, Andre, given the scale of this home, how did you manage to kind of nestle it into the natural environment?
Tamela, that was really a difficult task because ultimately with the view that we have, to actually achieve that view, we needed to raise this house by almost 4 meters to be able to achieve this view that we see here. It meant we had to push back into the stand, which was at an intense slope. We had a drop of nearly 14 meters over the length of the stand, which was an incredibly steep site to work with. And in that same instance, our client wanted this quite dramatic circular stair that needed to be a very, very prominent feature of the house.
Now, talking about the key architectural features, I think my personal favorite is probably the gardens. I mean, some of them are floating in the air, it seems. Chat to us about that.
Tamela, when you come up 4 meters to have a view, you don't want to take yourself away from the garden, so let's bring the gardens to the people. Ultimately, that's what we had to do. We wanted to bring the gardens up close and personal. On this floor, we're surrounded by gardens all the way to my back here. We've got a garden right above my head at the moment, and we had to incorporate what our thinking about the house was, what the client's thinking about a garden was, and what the landscaper brought to the party in terms of what planting could work and could not work. When you're dealing with very minimal soil levels, you've got to plant the right thing. So marrying all of that together was a really important component to what this house was, where we were leaning towards sleek, clean, very simple, just green gardens. The client has an incredible love for flowering plants, and together somehow it's what made the magic. And if it was just green, it would probably been quite boring, and if it was just flowers, it probably wouldn't have done it justice. So we're quite happy with the end result on the landscaping in the garden as is.
Oh, those rooftop gardens are to die for. No wonder they were allowed to bend a few rules. But if you're looking for the perfect family home with all the luxuries of a fine living lifestyle and entertainment spaces, then this is the home for you. No, really, this home, this exact home. Julianne, I love this home inside and out. It's truly beautiful and intensely spectacular. You must love living here.
No, well, of course. I mean, who wouldn't? It's a dream. It's my dream house. And we were very fortunate because we've had an opportunity to build our dream house from scratch. You know, because we lived here before on this plot in an old English country house that was also very beautiful and very gracious. But it was very old and it was kind of convoluted.
What exactly was your brief to the team?
So I'm from Northern Ireland, I'm British. My husband was born in Britain but was brought up most of his life in South Africa. My kids are South African. So for me, when we were conceptualizing what we wanted our house to be like, it was very important that it reflected who we are and what our cultures are, where we come from, and who we are as people, as personalities. So we came to the conclusion we wanted a traditional home with a contemporary feel and functionality.
Yeah.
I, coming from Ireland, love Georgian architecture, absolutely love it. So we met Gareth, we felt very comfortable with Gareth, and he took the brief to create a home that represents the British kind of culture, but that works in a South African context.
Yes.
So we looked at where we wanted to position the house on the plot, because previously the house had been quite close to the wall here. There wasn't much of a back garden, and as I said, it opened out on all the entertainment rooms were south facing. So we decided to move the house more towards the gate and open up this space at the back of the house, and all of the entertainment rooms now are north facing, so it gets a lot of warmth, a lot of light. It means we can enjoy that from the beginning of the day until the end of the day. So that was very important, yeah.
What are some of the elements that you just couldn't go without?
Okay, so there were certain things that I wasn't prepared to compromise on. One was parquet flooring, because any Georgian house I've ever been in has had that deeply rich, dark brown parquet flooring. So that was a given. Sash windows, and we looked at various ways to do the sash windows and ended up with the traditional, the old school kind of sash windows. So they're wooden, they're your authentic sash window. And the cornicing, the skirting boards are all very much of a Georgian old school kind of vibe. And also in terms of decor, I was trying to bring in, because I'm not particularly a modern person. I love antiques, I love old art and crafts, and so I was trying to mix the furniture and the decor with contemporary furniture and then twisting it a little bit with some vintage pieces. So that was really just to create the authenticity, but obviously we're not living in the past, we're living now, so it needs to work in a contemporary kind of environment and the way that we live as a family. And we have 3 kids, 2 dogs, we need space, we entertain a lot, we have a lot of friends over and we have big parties. I'm Irish, I think it's in my DNA. So we needed a house to be able to accommodate that.
Now, I know this might be a little bit tricky for you, but can you tell me your favorite parts of your home?
That's not tricky. I have 2 favorite rooms in my house. One is the library, which was originally supposed to be my husband's man cave, and I sort of hijacked that a little bit because I read a lot and I've got a lot of books. And the other one I love is my bathroom. I love the basket weave tiling. It reminds me of a London townhouse. The vintage bath and the feather mirrors, which we found in an antique shop. And so there's just so many quirky elements in the bathroom that every time I go in, it takes my breath away, still 2 years on. So.
Well, Julianne, if there ever was a perfect Georgian style example, this is it. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Shmela, would you like a gin and tonic?
Oh, you had me a gin and tonic.
Let's go to the bar.
If any of that looked familiar, that's because we were lucky enough to be welcomed back into this beautiful home in Bryanston, Johannesburg, which has become the set for this finale. But throughout the season, we've been so fortunate to be invited into some of the finest homes that South Africa has to offer. We've also met and learnt from phenomenal people who have turned these houses into homes. Thank you for joining me and looking back at the season's highlights. It's been an amazing journey exploring with you, and I cannot wait to see what we have in store in season 3. Until then, it's from me, your host, Dumelo Sitlava. These truly are your finest homes. Salanghandle.